Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to Sumi, and peace out to the rest of you. Black heart, black mind. Blacking again. Thanks for hitting the share button. The message is more important than the messenger. I'm going to tell y'all straight up about communication right quick. First, thank you, Rebecca Lynn Pope. Thank you, Kevin Samuels. There's something that both of you have told these ladies both a long time ago and recently that they needed to know. The man that can get what they want a man to have cannot speak to them the way their girlfriends do. There's one thing y'all didn't mention, but it's included. However, I want to point the detail out to make sure this detail is understood. Not so much by the ladies, really, but by you men. You men listening, I want you all to understand something. You cannot listen to them the way that their girlfriends listen to them either. So what this means is they can't talk to you the way they talk to their girlfriends because it ain't gonna make no sense. Now, this is not just if you're getting out there getting the money and lifestyle they want you to have for them. No, if you're getting a third of it, that means before you get to that point. If you're just doing well enough for yourself, you can't listen to them the way they talk to their girlfriends and the way their girlfriends listen to them. Because when they talk, they can talk illogically and put contradictory information in there. And the reason that they don't confuse each other is because they're not really thinking logically anyway. You see? They turn around and do that to you, and time's tight with you. Your time's valuable. See, now it's like you just gave me two mutually exclusive bits of information. But you're supposed to be the logical one while they confuse you. And it can be anything as simple as them telling you, well, I like her, but I don't. It could be something as simple as that, all the way up to them giving you directions to go somewhere. And then you don't find it. And then they say to you that you took a wrong turn. Following it, it could be either one of those two. As simple as one or as complex as the other. It could be either one. It doesn't matter. Whichever one. Gentlemen, you have every right when they start talking to you like that and confusing you because you're thinking logically, you have every right to drop them and say next. And what you're going to find is that this is one of the things that's going to eliminate the wicked witches of the West for you. Not even wicked witches at times. Just maybe those that don't really mean it. I mean, they may not hate you, but just, flaky, flighty ones. Responsible in every aspect of their life except the life they share with you. Logical in every aspect of life except the life they share with you. Just immature. You see, simply by you demanding real equality that they say they're demanding, when in actuality it's hypergamy. By you demanding real equality, you will eliminate so many of them from North America and the UK and Western Europe. All you got to do is demand that they have to speak as logically as you do. They have to behave as maturely for their age as you have to. You simply demand these two things, that they have to have as much substance as you have to have in your personality, and you will eliminate most of them. But understand, you cannot listen to them. Not only can you not talk to them the way the girlfriends do, you cannot listen to them the way that their girlfriends listen to the ways that they talk. That is not your fault. It's not a capacity. It's not something you can do and be a responsible earner. And that's even if she has to work to take up the rest of it. It's not possible, and it's not your fault, and it's not hers. That's what I wanted you to understand. You do not owe it to anybody to sit there and listen to confusion, contradictory bits of information. You don't owe that. You don't owe it to them to even be patient when they start talking and you get confused if you're actually following what they say, and that's what causes you to be confused. Now, I mean, if they're talking fast and you need them to slow down, or if they're just speaking slowly and you might need them to speed up and it's not an emergency, or you want them to speed up but it's not an emergency, that's patience that's worth having, sure. But that's assuming that they'll have the same patience with you. You don't owe that. And believe you me, they're not going to give that to you. You see, and you have every right to demand that when they communicate, because see, communication is a major problem for black people globally, in the Caribbean, North America, Britain, Western Europe, and Africa, and it is also a problem for North Africans and for Gulf Arabs. I don't know about the Levantine Arabs, or what they would call them Levantine Arabs. I'm not really sure. The Syrians, Iraq. Actually, no, I take that back. Iraqis, those niggas interrupt. It's stubborn as hell. And they cut you off. Definitely. So I can speak for them, I know. This is a problem they have. Terrible at communicating, and this is with each other. Because as we know, the empty vessel makes the most noise. And among both of our peoples, the dumbest people are the ones that keep not only talking the most, but interrupting everybody else all the time. And you can go to a lot of, I'd say about a third of Gulf Arabs outside of any major city, you can go to and ask them for directions. And they will give you wrong directions. You can go to, and when you go back and you say, okay, I followed these directions and it wasn't there, what gives? Then they'll say, yeah, of course it's not there. And then they'll give you another set of directions. But they're not going to tell you the correct set of directions from the very beginning and just get you where you need to go about a third of the time. You could even ask them, listen, did y'all get that ice cream that we're looking for? Or did you get the ice cream I asked you about last week? Yeah, it's over there. You go and you look, it's not here. Did you put it in another freezer in the back? Oh, we don't have it. I just asked you if you had it. Oh, I'm sorry, I misheard you. Dumb nigga stuff. When you deal with that from somebody that speaks your own language as their first language, you got every right to say, next, done. When that becomes common for them, okay, done, because I can't rely on you to give me accurate information. That means we can't build anything together. Even if you're not intentionally lying, the result is still the same. It's just the same as you lying. The exact same. Are we going anywhere this weekend? Yes. Where are we going? We're going to stay here on the couch. Wait. Okay, so you're a dumbass. Now, mind you, understand this, gentlemen. The reason I'm saying this is because if you do this to them, they're not going to tolerate it. And they will leave even for stuff like this. And before they leave, they'll be disrespectful and say you don't communicate like a man. Already, as it is, they get on you when you communicate logically because they want you to communicate emotionally. When you communicate emotionally, they use that against you, and then they disrespect you and leave you. So you get mixed signals no matter what. And that's why I'm saying all you got to do is just say, okay, communicate logically. Even if it is emotionally, communicate logically. As logically as you demand I do. And make sense or I'm gone. And believe you me, you will be gone most of the time. You will weed out so many of them. Because nobody's ever required this before. And I want to thank Mr. Samuels because you're now saying to them, look, you're going to have standards, you got to meet them. And for the most part, your standards are not even commensurate with what you meet. I'm glad you're telling them this. And I know I'm being one-sided again, but we need to be. Because it's been one-sided in the opposite direction all this time. And we're the gender that takes things that are unfair, and we make those unfair odds at first favor us later. We're the gender that does that, as I said yesterday. If I'm out in the bush, I know that lion's stronger than me. Even a lioness is stronger than me. I'm not a natural menu item. I know that too. But what do? They can't build a fire. I can. They can't control a fire. I can. They can't fashion their own weapons. I can. They can't make themselves too expensive an item. If I want to hunt them as a trophy and I got the weapons, then they can't make themselves too expensive an item for the prize that I would get. I can make myself too expensive an item. They're only going to get 1,500 calories eating me. They catch a zebra, they can get 3 times as many calories. I can surround myself with thorns, sharp, pointy objects, and fire. They don't want none of this, player. It's not because I'm big and bad. It's just because I got the brains and the opposable thumbs to do it. And what I'm saying is that since we're the gender that does that, we're going to turn this around. We're going to do that in this case as well. Because we think they can't communicate logically, and that's not true. They've just never been forced to because of the one thing that we have done wrong. Made things too easy, including that. Communication is important. I've learned that teaching English as a second language and having to learn a second language myself that's not related to my first. And I've had to learn how little some cultures know about communication. Completely. Many people here, many of the Gulf Arabs, are now learning English as a second language. That's good. I can make it easy if they're serious. But I've also learned how poorly stupid people communicate, be it in English or Arabic. I especially learned it here. Because, there are people here who really, actually, and truly don't have a sense of what someone else is going through trying to learn their language. And they got no idea. They really think, oh, well, if I just say the word louder 3 times and shake my hand like he can see what I'm imagining in my hand, he'll understand it. No, it's not the way it works. And they're really dumb enough to think that. Just like the low IQ Americans back in the States, when they come across someone that doesn't speak English, they think if they just say it louder and more slowly, the person's going to get it. No, they're not going to. They're going to have to learn. They're going to have to hear translation in the first language first or see a photograph. Over time, they'll get it, but not right off the bat. There are people here that really think that if they say one word 2 times, that makes a sentence. Nope. It's not a sentence, let alone an explanation. Believe you me when I tell you. Communication is important. But in all honesty, when I tell you this is going to make a lot of them upset. But gentlemen, most of you, not all of you, but many of you are actually, as long as you're not the one that interrupts all the doggone time, you are actually far better communicators than you've ever been given credit for. And don't let them tell you differently. Now, if you're an ignorant ass nigga and you're always interrupting people that do know more than you do, yeah, you're a piss poor communicator. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to front. I would say right now, Kevin Samuels is being an excellent communicator. But see, he's communicating with the ladies the same way he did with the men. And when he did this with the men, I said he's a terrible communicator. Why did I say that? Well, not only because I'm one-sided, but because of the reason that being one-sided is the right way to be in this case. That's why I said it. See, the men are already confused. So they're trying to give you as much as they can explain to you so that then they can get the feedback so that they know what good and bad counts in their favor and counts against them to get a full picture. You cut a man off, you're stopping him from learning. You're stopping him from asking so that he can learn. Because remember, we're genuinely confused, and we have every right to be. We've been lied to, then confused. When she does it, and he cuts them off, it's because they're not answering the further-mucking question. And they need to. Because the ball's always been in their court anyway from the time they were 12, and they were all being offered penis for free. So they actually do need to be told, answer this further-mucking question the way I asked it. There was one important question, though, that Mr. Samuels asked the men. Was your dad in your life? Yes or no? I mean, okay, see, that means he wasn't. Now, that one was pertinent, and he had to do that because that made the difference between the man that would say, yes, could have been more, but he was, or the man that would say, I mean, and would not actually answer the further mucking question the way that he asked it. It depended on who raised him. Raised by ladies only and communicated like them, he did not answer questions directly as he needed to and as they were asked. If he was raised by both parents, he could do that. And it's one thing to give an answer, but you give a lot of details to support the answer. You may not need to do it, but that's not answering the question. But giving a lot of details that do not answer the question is unnecessary. And there are some serious, tough questions that more of them are going to need to be asked when they call in to talk to Mr. Samuels. And frankly, when sisters start going in on him, I'm going to defend him. The same way I went against him when he was going in on dudes, I'm going to defend him when they go in on him, because it's war. And I fight wars one-sidedly. But when it comes to communication, and it is important, understand you don't owe it to anyone to be a better communicator than them, especially when they are the ones talking about the need to work on communication. And you're not as poor a communicator as many of you think you are by the time you are adults. Teenage boys, I don't know. Depends on where they grow up. I've seen it for both genders. But most of you that are adults listening to the sound of my voice now are not as bad communicators as you've been told that you are. You're just being told that because they want you to communicate more emotionally, but that's because you're not doing it. If you do it, they don't want that either. And also because you're thinking with the logical mind because you have to anyway. And they want to be able to just say anything and you pay attention and be wrapped up and absorbed into every word. Shuck that fit. Anyway, that being said, thanks for listening. I hope that one day this won't be true anymore. In the meantime, until that day, I hope it helps. Black heart, black mind, blackout. Assalamu alaikum. Black, heterosexual, male, non-select, good listener power just cause they don't like it.